Well, it's a grand day to be showing off a couple of great grand clamps. What nice items. First saw Scout Crafter showing a couple of these and had to have them, but it's taken several months to even find any. They seem to be pretty rare, and when they are on eBay, you'll see them at really huge prices, large prices. So I was lucky enough to get a hold of a couple, and the first one we're going to take a look at is this nice combination clamp. Got two different clamp areas. We'll show you how that works. Really strong clamp. Nice, well-made item. This one was in pretty good condition. Some discoloration, some patina, but overall really nice condition. So we will certainly put a nice restore on this. And after some cleaning and painting, here's the finished item. Used a nice machine gray color. It's a nice color to be used on clamps. You can see a nice finish on all the screws. Backside left plain. It just says patent pinned on it for patent pending. But it shows the color off well. You can see how it compares to the original. I tried to find out some information, some history on the grand clamps. Other people have looked. I looked and looked and looked and cannot find the original company that made these. Not a lot of information on them. Well, they were big, strong, well-made clamps. But let me show you how this one works. Just like any clamp, you put it on the workpiece, tighten it up, and it does tighten up real securely, but it has a secondary tightening operation here, which will really bring it up tight. I mean, it is a rock solid. Not going to pull that loose. So the grand clamp with the two actions of clamping, a really nice, well-made item. The next item is this large clamp. It says Grand Clamp Master or Grand Master Clamp, which I think is how it should be said. This item really rusty and corroded. That finish was on there rock solid. Been a lot of years since that's been cleaned in any manner. Of course, this is a quick release clamp, which we'll show you how that works, which is unusual. While not the largest clamp I own, it certainly is the heaviest, coming in at about 4.5 pounds for this 4-inch clamp. All due to this Art Deco type design on it. Gives it a nice design, and it works quite well. I'm sure going to hear about this grand clamp being soaked in vinegar in this nice piece of cookware. I know I'll hear a lot about that. Now here's that grand clamp after a vinegar bath and a wire brushing and a lot of time and a lot of scrubbing. I mean, this was solid, baked on rust and grease and dirt, and primarily just a hard shell of rust that had been on there for many years, been piling up and up. So now we've got to finish it. I can't find any evidence that there was ever any color on here or painted any color. This may have been the finish. I didn't see any paint remnants, but we've got to decide on a finish and a paint, and we'll be back with in a little while to show you how we did. And here we are restored. Turned out nice. I used the machine gray color on here too. It just seemed appropriate. It fit all the lines. A little rhythm on the quick release item, and brass screw. It was kind of corroded and pitted, but got it as clean as possible. On the back, we just got the 4ASL, which is the model number. But again, 4.5 pounds, quite heavy, quite weighty. Turned out beautiful. Big improvement from the item the way I found it. Outlined the Grand in red. Seemed to go well with the gray color. How this clamp works with this quick release mechanism. Put it on the workpiece by just sliding this forward, and you give it an additional turn to tighten it up, tighten your grip on the workpiece. And when you want to release it, you got your quick release lever there. So it works quite easily and securely. I think there's other clamps been made with this same design. This one, have no idea when this was made again, like the other one, the dual action clamp, and this one are the two Grand clamps I found. Can't find any history on them. Anybody knows any history, I'd appreciate it if you would pass it along to me. An additional item we're showing today is this Walco hex wrench. Interesting item. It was designed for one purpose. Of course, this came in a pretty solid cruddy condition and required quite a bit of cover-up. This tool was manufactured by a company called Walworth Manufacturing Company. Here's a page, or the cover page, on their catalog from 1878. And these people primarily made brass and iron steam valves and cocks, and the tools used for working, for pipe fitting and working on pressure vessels primarily. This item, originally they made the Stillson wrench. They were the inventor of it, which they made many varieties over the years, and the patent was released to a lot of other people made Stillson wrenches. Very popular and a great wrench for pipe fitting. So they took this wrench and did a little additional work on it. I'll show you how it turned out. Here it is restored. Nice improvement. Cleaned it up, shined it, polished it. Their little logos show now. A little red color in there we all like to do, but it gives the wrench a nice look. So I didn't do the high shine, but I polished it up, cleaned it up, and you can see the hex opening there. And the reason for the hex opening is for this item. This is also an item they made many of in a lot of different varieties. It's called a bonnet valve. And a bonnet valve has a hex coupler on here. And this wrench was designed just to fit on there. And strictly for that. And the reason being, many other wrenches, when you use the Stillson wrench or any kind of pipe wrench on this, which many people did and still do today, scars it pretty badly. You got to put a good bit of torque on there to get that loose. These were chromed, and of course when you put the jaws on there, that's what you get. And they needed something to really fit it, and that's why they came up with this design for the hex wrench. And it seemed to work a lot better than the standard monkey wrench type. We'll give a little demo on it here. As you can see, the hex is designed for a hex nut. I don't have one of the valves here, but it's got the same number of sides. You can't put it on like this. You've got to actually put it down over the item. And it grips solidly around the nut or the fitting. Gives it good strength, also non-marring. Of course, as you move it, if you have to move it, you've got to remove it from it and move it to the move it back. And if you need to get another grip, you got to move it back again. You lift it off and move it back again. Not made for speed, like a self adjusting wrench or any other type of wrench that's easy to get on and off again. slide on and off. It's made for precision. It's made to protect the part that you're working on, and also made to give you the strength to remove it because you've got such a good grip. So that was the purpose of this wrench, called a Walco hex wrench. Lastly, I've got this nice small wrench made by Snap-on. Cleaned up quite nicely. Don't have a before on it, but it was in pretty good shape. A little bit of pitting on the lower handle here, but the rest of it polished up nice and was in really good shape. Came with one socket, a little 1/4-inch drive, 1/4-inch socket wrench, one socket with it, original Snap-on also. To give you an idea of the size of this is the normal 1/4-inch wrench from my socket set. You can see the difference in size quite a bit. This was called a midget wrench. Snap-on called this a midget wrench. And again, something I didn't have in the collection before. Nice item to add. Still works quite well. So here's the great additions to my collections today. 2 grand clamps, very rare. Also this rare hex wrench. And I'm not so sure the Snap-on midget wrench is that rare, but it is old and it is a nice item to add. I'll got some additional clamps to show you later on, and then we'll do a wall update because it's taken over the garage, but it'll be interesting to see it all together. I'll have that for you soon. Thanks for watching.